What's up, and welcome to Nacho's Cafe. This is your boy Will, aka Nacho, and today is Talk About It Tuesday, where me and a guest will sit and talk about it, whatever it is, and that's what we'll be talking about. You ready? Today's guest that I have today is a really good friend of mine. We met in college, and actually, it was theater. To be honest with you, it was theater when we had met. It was I forget what class it was. I think it was like audition
Just,
class or something like that.
yeah.
And or
Techniques.
audition, right?
Yeah.
I think it was like an audition class. I mean, that bitch was crazy. But anyway, but
Do we do dance too?
oh hell
Yeah.
yeah, we did dance because like I think that's where we really like connected was the
Yeah.
whole dancing thing.
Yep.
But but yeah, so like I had a dream of like creating something of on YouTube, like a show, I guess. And you know, when you're in college, you came out of high school and you're still trying to discover what your passion is and everything like that. And so I met my boy Corey, and it was funny because like one day I had a conversation with an old friend of mine talking about the project that I wanted to work on. And I'm just talking out loud, and my friend Corey, he nosy as fuck. He listening, chiming in, and I'm like, yeah, I gotta find some people to like be in it. Like, I'm not even trying to say anything. His hands goes up, and he way over in the corner, like he's eavesdropping on one of my conversation. When he's like, he's down. I'm like, well, I think I got my first person who's gonna be part of my project. And so after that, it's been up and up. And no matter what project or whatever we wanted to talk about, whatever it was, he always had my back. I had his back. And it was just a bunch of creativity. And in life, it's so hard to meet individuals that have a creativity who sees more than just life it is. And me and him, we saw that. Like we connected, like it was just like bam. Like I call him my partner in crime back when I was in like growing up in college and just going through situations of my own, you know, growing up and everything like that and just being creative. And it was just honestly a blessing to meet somebody who had just that much drive and inspiration. And not just necessarily because, you know, we meet people, we talk about surface materialistic stuff. And to meet an individual that goes beyond the surface is a blessing in its own. And that's what I have with my friend Corey. And the character that I had him in this project that I was working on was called Oh Boy.
Oh
And
boy.
it's funny because every character in this project represented a side of me, and everybody could find themselves in it. There was so many sides. Like I got a mental problem, just so y'all know Nacho, so it's all a problem. But in this, he was more in tune with the character called Oh Boy, and for a lot of blacks, we know what oh boy means is oh that's oh boy. You know, it's not you ain't got it go in description. You ain't got it's like, oh what's up, oh boy. We don't even know his name. It's just that's oh boy. Like we know oh boy. I really don't know how to go in tune, like in depth of describing what oh boy means. And so forevermore, he has always been oh boy to me. Like,
Yep.
yes, his name is Corey, but like I've always known him like that's oh boy, like that's oh boy, he got shit going on. He is doing him, he's doing his thing. Like that is the epitome of the term oh boy. So if you ever use the term oh boy, black folks, you know what I mean. But like for those who don't know what we're talking about, oh boy is just like, oh yeah, that's oh boy. Okay, so yeah, you know, so that's oh boy. So we are here to do like an open collaboration and whatnot, wherever it goes. Because that's always been the foundation of me and him. We've always been able to just like blah and just freaking let it go to something, you know? But with further ado, I would like to introduce my friend, my dear friend. Like he's definitely like someone I would consider if you meet him, it's a blessing. And he's literally he got your back, especially if it has a meaning behind it, whatever you're doing. I feel just from my own personal experience, he got you. And so with further ado, it's my boy Corey, which I know aka Old Boy. Everybody, I want to introduce Corey. Say hello. What's up, man?
What's up, man? Thanks for having me.
Thank you for
That
being a
was
part of
a,
this, man.
that was a great intro. I appreciate all that, man. Like
No problem. It's all truth. You know what I'm saying?
bringing back memories that here talking about Ghetto Street and everything, man. That oh boy was great though. That I feel like at that time in my life, it was a character that I kind of just fell into. Like it was easy for me to portray that character because in a sense I was like a lot of what I was doing in life too, you know, like girls and then partying and just the whole swag thing. I was all into all that. So it was an honor being able to play that character. So I
And
appreciate
I
that.
appreciate it too. You know, it was I was just talking about this to my best friend just a little earlier about this project in itself, that every person that was a part of this project is a blessing because they didn't worry about the money. They were
Yeah.
like, is there money? No one asked about money. They actually believed about the purpose of why this project needed to be what
Yeah.
it was. Like they believed in the message. They believed in like, we see on TV so much stuff that we cannot connect to. Like, I don't have a mattress. I don't know what that's like. You know, I don't have that car or these people around me. I don't have maids clean up behind me, all that. We need something to watch that we can relate to. And
Oh, yeah.
that was the whole reason why I created this project. And everybody that was in it, including oh boy, Corey, like you're always in your word, man. Really connected to it because it was like, this is what we need to hear right now because everybody's doing this facade, you know? And so I'm grateful for that. Um, but today, well, we're not going to talk about the project itself.
Yeah.
I kind of described about what the term "oh boy" means. It literally is that guy who got things going on, you know, and that's why it really, like he said, he connected with it. He was someone always achieving things. You know, what's next? What's next? What's next? Like, okay, I conquered that. What's next? You know, so from theater to choreography to dancing to DJing to even acting on a personal YouTube channel with me,
Mhm.
and then now to military. So, bro, like what I want to ask is like,
Yeah.
how has this transition with you? Like, what led you to it? And then like what did you gain from it?
Yeah.
From
So
A to Z.
it's funny, right? I've always been like kind of so when I was like 18, I knew
Uh-huh.
like the military had always inspired me. So I was gonna join when I was 18, then I was gonna join again when I was 24, and then again at 26. I ended up joining at 28. A lot of things happened in between those times, you know, like for example, getting a good job, wanting to do the DJ thing and express that side because, you know, at that time I loved going to festivals and shows and the just whole art and creativity of like making my own sound and doing all that. But it kept coming back full circle to me about the military, and it was something that I've always been passionate about. And the reason is because it's serving that higher purpose. It's the challenge. It's you signing up for something to be, you know, I struggled with being selfish and stuff when I was younger, but it's about just letting go and being selfless for the greater good of humanity and serving a higher purpose, you know, like answering the call basically in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
And my like from 18 until now, the last 10 years, it hasn't been the smoothest. You know, there's been a lot of ups, a lot of downs, a lot of struggles, you know, hardships, heartbreaks, you name it, you know, just like everybody else. Everybody else has had hard times. But there's always been something inside me, whether, you know, my mind is foggy or not, or whatever it is, there's always been like a voice, I guess you could say, or something that has always compelled me to be like, to want more, like you said, to want that next thing, to challenge myself, like be better and see what I'm capable of. And it's kind of been like a guide to me, but at times I had resisted that. And I was like, you know, no, I thought I had it all figured out and, you know, things were just going to come to me like this and that.
Don't
But
we all?
it was at you know, when I was younger, I didn't really want to work hard for the things that mattered. You know, I just expected them to be a certain way. And as I got older, you know, I met my wife and had my daughter and all that. That is what really changed me. It just kind of brought to surface everything that I was pushing down that I knew was there. And then it was like a wake up call where I'm like, hey, you know what? Like this is what I in my heart of hearts feel like I'm meant to do. I'm put on this earth to do this. And I just, you know, I made that decision, and ever since then, it's like it's been nothing but good and uphill because I'm allowing myself to be in that swim lane that I need to be in and just go with it. And, you know, constantly challenging myself and just wanting to be better and do like, you know, what's that next step? What can I do to help others, help myself and this and that. So It's been a lot. A lot has transpired in those last 10 years that have led me to where I am now. And it's, to me, it's like I feel like I'm just at the beginning. You know, like yeah, I'm 30 years old now. A little later than I would have liked, but you know what? It's all for a purpose. Had I not gone through any of that, I wouldn't be where I am today with the mentality I have. I'm a completely different person now than I was 3, 4 years ago when my priorities were all mixed up, and you know, I didn't know what I really wanted or what really mattered, and it's it was hard, but I wouldn't take any of it back. You know, it made me who I am today, and I'm sure a lot of people can say the same thing. So yeah,
Yeah, me personally, I can definitely ground that too. Being in our 20s, like, I'm so grateful because it's you can talk to a lot of people and they don't have the opportunity or had the opportunity or whether they ignored it
mhm.
to meet someone like you um in their life, to meet someone who has kind of that ambition, just as like me, I had an ambition myself, still trying to figure myself out, just like you were saying, you figuring yourself out. Because I mean, I feel like in our 20s, we're trying to figure out where we belong,
Yeah,
trying to figure out like, okay, what do I really want? I'm gonna test the waters, I'm gonna test this, test that. This isn't me. Okay, what's next?
mhm.
Because there's a lot of people, and I know you've probably seen it, like people you've known or whatnot, who they find something, they stay there, and it's not like, because sometimes we know people better than they know themselves,
Oh yeah,
and the fact they get them, they feel like, man, that's not what they want. But you know what, the thing is, we have to stand back because it's their life, not ours. And I can only speak on like me and you, because we're the type of people that kind of like, we get that, we get that, like, okay, well, you got to do you. I got you, bro. Do yourself, girl, do yourself, whatever. But like, I just know that's not you, but I can't pull
yeah,
your arm all the time, and to just be ambitious and try it, because like I can only speak for myself as well, because I mean, I watched you from afar, doing your thing, because I know as I left town, you were diving into DJing, and the whole DJ area. And that was like not even where it was when I was away from you. Like I watched you, I'm like, bro is getting it, he's at these clubs, he's all doing this and that. But it's amazing what you say, because as a human being, we have to go through these things to like find what we really want to do that gives us purpose. You know what I mean? And the
absolutely.
fact that you just said right now, like you've always had that kind of like love, that heart, like I've always wanted to be in the military. Because it does give you purpose. It gives you discipline, it gives you foundation,
Definitely.
kind of like that backbone. It builds up, to me, from my observing, because I've never been a part of it, but like from observation, like I feel like it gives you a backbone. You know what I mean? To like stand up straight for what you believe in, and go forward with it without any contradiction. Like just go. Like the only person stopping you is you. And I feel like that's always been me and you's like talk about everything. Like the only enemy that we have is ourselves in the ultimate life. Like all we have is ourselves. That's our enemy that's stopping us to progress into other things. And meeting someone that has that same kind of mindset, and you were younger than me, so
Mhm.
it's like, okay, but we still had that mentality that was literally the same, you know. Like I want to encourage anybody out there listening, like you really got to keep yourself open up. Do not limit yourself. Don't put yourself with so much expectations, because when you put so many expectations, you let yourself down, to be honest with you.
Mhm.
Because
That's a
like I've
good.
always said, expectations give you disappointment, because you only see it this way. And when it comes up not that way, what do? You get disappointed, like then I'm not going to accept it.
You know what?
So how do you know if that's good or bad?
And yeah, and along with that, I think if you don't put yourself in a position to fail, you're never going to really know what you're capable of or learn. Like if
Right.
you're always taking that path of least resistance and always just trying to be comfortable, well, you're never challenging yourself, or you're never going to grow. You're always going to stay like that. And to me, like I've failed a lot at a lot of things, but you know what? At least I had the, I guess you could say, like the strength to do it and be like, you know what, I'm going to try it. And then most of the time when I do fail those things, if it's something that really matters to me, I come back better, stronger. I know
Right. Right.
what I failed from it, what I learned. I don't give up. You know what I mean? In that sense, like, and like you were saying with the military, I think that's one of the things I love about it most, is because no matter if you're black, white, blue, green, whatever you
Oh
are,
yes. Yeah.
wherever you're from,
Yeah.
you all have to face the same thing, and you're standing there next to people, and you put your ego and everything aside, and you're all challenged. You know, it's all voluntary. Everybody signs up for it. And throughout the military, if you choose, you can volunteer for more harder things and this and that. But the very essence of it, at the fundamentals, is it strips away who you are, and it makes you learn, you know, how to work as a team, how to care about one another, and just put aside whatever differences you may have. You know what I mean? And it really strips away all those layers and builds you up, in my opinion, better and stronger. And it's a benefit to everyone that chooses to do it.
Right, right. It was I remember getting phone calls when I was in college about joining. Bro, when they called me, I always had an answer for them, man. They were like, so, you know, you want to join? I'm like, well, do you guys got production? Because you know where my heart was at, you know, in college. Like,
They
got
do.
production?
I mean,
Like,
they have, yeah.
they asked me though, bro. They were like, okay, well, what you mean production? Like TV, not TV, but like video camera, because I want to direct.
Yeah.
I want to direct shit. And they're like, okay, well, we have like new cast. They're like, nah, bro, movies. They were like, okay, no, we don't have that. You can come and like, you know, witness what's going on. I'm like, nah.
Yeah.
I need it to be like, because the actors, if they die, I need them to be alive, you know, bro. Like, I need special effects. So, you know, I'm not dabbing. No, like, you know what? At least you know where you're going. I'm like, I'm just saying, like, I'm not saying no, but I'm saying if you offer this, okay, I might think about it. Like, no, we are technically limited to some of that stuff that you're asking for. But you know what? I wish you the best on your journey. Like, thank you. I appreciate that, you know, because I was like, you know, but nah, you know.
Definitely. So it's definitely not for everyone. I will say that, but it's definitely something which, and I see this a lot. People that are civilians that don't care about the military, anything, they still have like respect for it and for what it does. Which that I think, like being an active duty, that's really what matters to me. Is just as long as they know like that there are people out there doing the things that other people don't want to do. Which is, and it goes both ways. It's a two-way street on that. You know. Yes, it not being for everybody, that's okay. That's the thing about freedom in this country. You have the decision to do what you want to do, and you know, people should support each other on that, not beat each other down over it. You know, so.
How long have you been in it? For so far in the military?
Coming up on 2.5 years, so it's still pretty fresh. Yeah, but I mean, it's great. Like having joined older than when I was younger. It might not have been as good for me, I think, like mentally, because of where I was at in my life. So as it stands now, like I see myself doing, like making it a career for, you know, the rest of like the 20 years or whatever, because it's done nothing but enhance my life and my family's life. And it's just a constant reminder of who I am, what I'm doing, what my purpose is, and just always seeking that next challenge, like wanting to be better. And some people, they reach that certain level and they're content with that. That's fine. Like that's completely okay. But it gives you so much freedom to decide your fate basically and choose like, you know, what level you want for yourself. And that's, I love that every day. You know, it's a grind. So it's awesome.
Did you have any lack of support from family or friends when you decided to go into the military?
No. If anything, I think certain people that I had associated myself with that, you know, maybe aren't the best quality of people to be around or whatever, in terms of like the decisions they make and they kind of just fell off, you know what I mean? And like, it kind of just like, it's like I had said before, it just stripped away certain parts of your life that aren't the healthiest for you. And then it's opened up the doorway for so much like better quality of people to come into your life that are like really good people, and you meet some of the best people in the world. But like since having joined, you know, we've met some awesome people that we consider family now basically, and they're from all over, you know, we're not all from the same place. So
I think that's what makes it beneficial, right?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah, offer so many different ideas and perspectives on things that makes it more of a whole. I feel like
that you can learn from and grow from, and you know, push each other, support each other, motivate each other, you know, and your kids, their kids, you know, their wives, your wives. It's everybody, you know, it's like a tight knit community and everybody has each other's back.
Yeah.
Great.
So how did it feel when you became a dad, man?
Man, it was everything I never knew I wanted. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. That says a lot right there.
I had an idea of what I thought it was going to be like, but it like far exceeded my expectations and blew my mind. And that was a very natural, evolution that happened with me. It's crazy. So like it does, I guess everyone, it's different, but when she's pregnant, for some people it kicks in then. For me, I was like, okay, she's pregnant, but once my daughter came, it was like, oh my, like, wow, okay, this is just like, it's like such a
It's
spiritual
real.
thing, and like I can't even explain that feeling that you get. It's just, that like from that moment on, the rest of your life, it's about that baby. Like your happiness is them. You know what I mean? If they're not happy, you're not happy, and then you want to just do everything that you can to teach them, let them grow and learn and support them. And it's a crazy ride, but it's like, it's the best. I definitely
Right.
think it is like the best thing for any man.
Man, bro, I'm so happy for you that you found that and to have that.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you ain't got a man that has the mentality of making sure the life is gonna be about his baby, next.
Yeah. Not everyone's like that. I can't speak for everybody.
Not to be mean, I'm just being honest. I'm like, because that's a dad. I didn't have that because obviously he didn't think that. Because I'm sure if he did, maybe he'd be around, So that's courage and selfless, man. Like you've always been to me. I know you say yourself as selfish, but was in the beginning. I think we all have been selfish, but I mean, as
Yeah.
a person looking out, from outside looking in, you always spark me as someone who's very, very selfless. You've always put people before you, like, what can I do to make them better, help them better, or to support? And man, I'm so proud of you, man, and so happy for you for being a father, because when I saw pictures and everything like that, I'm just like, I can only imagine how he's feeling, because it's like, because I know you, in a way of just a growth individual who's always seeks growth and always sees the best in everything. Not good, the best in everything. It's like, okay, let's do this. So it's like, I can only imagine, and I'm so proud of you and so happy for you. Like, congratulations. I know it's a little late. I know I sent little messages here and there, but like, dude, like, man, I'm so happy, man.
Thank you, brother. I appreciate that, man.
Yeah, no problem.
Number 2 is on the way. She's due September 24th. So
I thought I heard that. Like, I thought I saw something about that. I was like, I think there's number 2 coming around too.
More after that. These, me and my wife only want 2 anyways, and that we think that's a healthy number,
Right.
So
Honestly,
for us,
it is.
yeah. And the age difference that they're within 3 years. So they're gonna grow up doing a lot of the same things, learning from each other, supporting each other. So that's what we want. What we wanted.
And it's the right time too.
Yeah.
That timing that you
With
planned the
everything going on,
spacing.
it's kind of like a bit unsettling, but I have faith everything will work itself out. So
Hey, that's all you need, man.
yeah,
That's all you need.
Us as parents will always protect them and take care of them, and they're gonna grow up being strong and able to take care of themselves in any situation. So that'll be good. Yeah.
Do you know what the sex of your next child is gonna be?
Girl.
So Josh, 2 girls.
Yeah, 2 girls.
Ooh, just what you need, bro. You're gonna spoil the hell out of them girls, because it's always about daddy's girls. So I mean, dang, your mom, the wifey can't even get a favorite. She ain't got no boy.
Yeah, it's real, man.
Oh man. So do you see anything beyond military? Like, what's next? Because I know you're like me. What's next type of guy. So it's like, once you accomplish what you accomplish, is there a next?
Oh yeah. So I kind of already do a little bit of that now, but it's more, I guess, ties back into the creative side on one end. Like, with the whole podcasting thing, and then I've been reading a lot of books, so I might want to like write my own book eventually. Throughout my career, like slowly write it, and then from when I was young and everything compiled up until, then. So that'll be a slow process. But then I really love, so like scuba diving, that's like one of my passions. I love diving, and I love that I'm able to do that in the military. So I think, and they make good money, but it's not about the money. It's just, when you're down there, it's like, it's the closest thing to being in space, I guess you could say, just, in the water aspect. So I'll probably be doing
Right.
that, working as a contractor or whatever, still probably with the military, but as a civilian contractor. So
Yeah,
probably something in that area as a job.
that's cool. Uh,
Yeah.
I've thought about that myself, scuba diving and going.
Yeah.
I would like to go deep. I mean, I wish there was no
Like,
sharks
yeah,
anywhere, but because that's the only thing that keeps me. But
that's a
like,
that's a bit scary for me. I mean, I would do it, but I like to stay within like 100 meters. You know what I mean? Like where I can stay
right,
light.
right, right. Like I gotta get up there. Are you there? Where's the boat at? I don't know who you sleeping on, but you need to hurry up. Something's
Yeah.
coming. You know what I'm saying?
So far down there, that's
It's a whole nother world.
yeah. Oh yeah.
And to be honest, 99% of it still has not been discovered.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, let's discover
I
this,
think
but there's things keeping you from that,
yeah.
that's down there, which I like personally too, because I think in certain atmospheres that man should mind their own business in some things, because we like to destroy a lot of things, It's like, okay, don't go down there. And I love it because there ain't no oxygen, so you can't really breathe to do anything down there. You got to create tools and ships and stuff like that. But even then, you still can't go all the way down,
Yeah, I think
Um,
I'd be good being an instructor or something, like a tour diver, like giving tours where it's like, relax. So I'll do all the hard stuff while I'm in, but then when I retire, I'd be like, all right, it's time to chill, do it the right way. So.
right. So so bouncing back a little bit on the life prior to, which is the DJing life, how was that, and how did you get in? Because I know you I want to say touring, but not touring. You know what I mean? Like, but you went from here and there. So how was that? Like, how did you get in to really? How was it? Like, literally, how was it?
Let's say it started around, I would say, because I was DJing when I met you a little bit. I was
Yeah,
like into the production thing, but so when I went to like my first music festival, and I was like, wow, and like just the vibe of everybody, and then the DJs up there performing and everything, I was like, this is awesome. And then music has always been huge to me, so I wanted to like create my own sound and get into that. So I would watch a lot of DJs that inspired me and watch the sets, and just learn whatever I could. I kind of self-taught myself in production. I didn't really go to school or anything like that. And then eventually got into DJing, started at house parties, and then went to like hookah bars, clubs, and then like small little festivals. And that the DJing thing really went well. Like it was going good. I moved to LA, and it was like my DJ career was taking off, but my personal like spiritual side was going down. You know what I mean? So
got you.
it wasn't fulfilling me, and I wasn't making the best decisions, hanging around the best people. Priorities were all mixed up, and I loved the music thing. I probably could have stuck with it, but I don't know how it would have turned out for me.
Right.
My like inside was asking for so much more, like so much more fulfillment, and I wasn't really getting that. It felt good to allow people to have a good time and make my my sound and put it out there and see everybody happy and dance, but like I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
I thought I was, but I wasn't. So that just again tied back into like what is it that I really want, and then listening to myself. And there was a week in LA, which is crazy. It was the week before I met my wife, and this is what it makes it like a huge transition for me. But this was like the worst week I think that I ever had. Like I couldn't sleep. I had so much anxiety. I felt like people were coming after me to get me. Just like in my head, it was so messed up. You know what I mean? I'm like,
Yeah.
what's going on? Like I didn't feel good. And then I met my wife. On that day, I was sick, and she's like, "Oh, you sure you want to stay home?" This was our first date that we were gonna go on, and I was like, "No, like something's telling me just go, right? Like I could just do it." And I went, and it was like the best night of my life. And ever since then, it's like it's just been nothing but uphill. Like my wife is literally, I owe everything to her, and she knows. I tell her that all the time. I'm like, if it wasn't for her being that spark to, you know, change my life and lead me to everything where I'm at and support me and everything, it was such a like a 180 turn, you know what I mean? And that, I think the thing that was missing initially was that like connection with someone that I can like be myself and talk to and not be judged, and you know,
Oh, man, talk
both
about
ways.
it.
And with her, it was a time in both of our lives that was very uh, dark, low, I guess you could say.
Uh-huh.
I just finished getting a surgery where she got one of her ovaries removed because she had a cyst, which, you know, that could have killed her at that time.
Right.
So she was recovering. She still had the patch or the cover post surgery, whatever. So that had happened like a week prior to us meeting, where I was going through my phase. So I just look at it in such a spiritual sense of how everything just, you know, led up to that moment. And then for both of us, our lives just drastically improved and got so much better after that. So
And that's
it's
awesome, man.
like something higher power up there at work, you know what I mean? So,
Right.
yeah.
It's what you needed. It's what she needed. And then you guys came together
Yeah.
at the right time, at the right moment. Words were said at the right timing, because timing is everything. And I know one thing me and you, we always agreed on was, you know, that whole spiritual side of things.
Yeah.
You know, I know that's something that we always agreed on back then. And I think for ourselves early on, were discovering it ourselves on what it really meant as an individual. Because I mean, you could be raised up in church. That's
Mhm.
one thing. That's religion. But spiritual is more personal.
Yep.
And it's a self journey and discovering it for yourself. So like, man, I'm with you on that, because like it's personal for me. Like that's huge. That's the whole foundation of me being who I am. Um, but that's amazing. And you know, it's hard to find a match, you know what I mean, like out there that can share that from a struggle
Yeah.
and know how to overcome that and be able to share that with somebody and then still keep growing and still building and still just, you know, heading somewhere, you know. And that's amazing. I'm so happy, bro. I'm the least most envious person that anybody will ever meet. Like I get blessed by seeing others get blessed, and bro, like I'm so happy. Like you deserve that.
Well, see, at that time, I didn't. Well, I guess looking back on it now, and I remember telling her that I was like, I don't ever feel like I deserved you, especially at that moment, just because the kind of person I was at that time. And yeah, I don't know, you know, if you call it good karma or what have you, but it definitely was the best thing that ever happened to me was meeting her. And side note with that, we met on Tinder. So it,
Swipe right.
I will say in my defense, I didn't ever. She was my first date on Tinder, and
Really?
yeah, I was like talking to a few other people on there, but I never like, you know, followed up with it or went on dates or anything.
Right.
So I was on there to hook up. You know what I mean? Like I was in LA and I wanted people to like go out and eat with, you know, seafood, sushi, what have you. So
Right.
yeah, I mean, I met her, saved my super like, you know, because I tried to super like her and it was like, you got to wait 2 hours. And I was like, okay, I guess I'm waiting. So after that, and then boom, swiped up, and probably within like an hour, she swiped back and we started talking and we went on a date the next day. So, and that
And the
was
super
she
like was new to me, man. Like I think it was the other year when I was like, there was a super like, oh, I'm like, what the heck?
I mean, yeah, when you meet so it was funny because I still have the picture, but her main picture, she looked like Chun-Li.
Ah, yes.
I was
Did
like,
she?
this, yeah,
She the one.
yeah, I was like, this girl, yeah, she's special. So,
Give me that spinning fly kick, okay?
yeah, it got me. I tell her that was the one.
Oh man. So as in for like challenges in your careers, what has been like the biggest challenge that you have had to face besides making sure that you're centered within yourself?
I would say staying on that path. That's
Consistency.
Yeah, consistency and discipline, because there's so much things that go on around outside that you kind of take your mind off what really matters and distract you, and you know, like propaganda basically. That's why I don't ever watch the news.
Oh
It's
my God,
just,
smart.
if you know, and like if I need to find out something about the world, what's going on, I'm going to hear it from face to face interaction, or you know, what's going on around me. I'm not going to put myself in a place where I'm just being overloaded with negativity, because I always try to be positive and make the right decision.
Hmm.
I mean, yeah, it's a struggle for everybody, you know. But I would say the challenge is that in terms of a career, I seek those out. So those I'm volunteering for those, and I bring those on myself because, you know, like I had mentioned earlier, that's what I want from myself, to continually challenge in that sense. But challenges that can kind of like, you know, rattle your brain. It would be like losing friends, like getting sick, or someone around you getting sick. Those kind of, you know, hardships and stuff. But definitely, I feel confident in knowing that whatever the situation is, I can overcome it. And my view is, through those hardships and obstacles, you come back hardened, stronger. It's like if you break a bone and it heals actually stronger than what it was before. So that's my analogy with it, is you can overcome anything and do a lot more than what you think. Like, as long as you don't quit and give up, you can really push through pretty much anything, I believe. Unless you're incapacitated and you can't physically or whatever, but I just never quit. Just whatever it is, I just take it and, you know, deal with it, grit my teeth, and work through it.
Right. Right. I think, and it's also good because you see potential in everything.
Mhm.
You know, that's that fire that's behind all that. So that's good.
Yeah. And that purpose too. So I'll touch on like motivation and purpose for a
Yeah,
bit.
yeah.
Motivation is good to a certain point, but it's only good if there's a purpose behind it, because
Right.
motivation will burn out. You'll see someone that's super motivated about doing something. I myself have done this a lot. I'm like, I'll be super motivated, and then a month goes by and I'm like, oh well, okay, this kind of just fell off and I burned myself out. But when you
Yeah.
have purpose behind that, it's so much more, because those two are what is going to compel you forward. You know, it's that reassurance that, you know, what it is that you're doing is right, and you're doing it for the right reasons. You know, instead
Yeah.
of just, oh, I want to do this because of blah blah blah.
Right.
You know,
Right.
like, say like, I want to be the best I can be because my daughter. I want to set an example.
Right.
And same around me, you know what I mean? And like, everybody's belief system is different, but yeah, I think in order to have proper motivation, you have to have purpose, and purpose comes first. After you
Right.
have motivation for whatever it is that you want to do and seek out, is going to come.
Right. Right. Man, I'm 100% with you, man. It gives you the why, what you're doing, because if you're not, you're just
It's the
blind
why.
and just going, and there's a cliff right there, but then you're gonna cross it because you don't know why, or why you shouldn't. So if
Yeah,
you don't have the why of what you're doing, then why are you doing that?
exactly.
Are you that easily led? You know, because they're doing it, so you're gonna do it. But then there's gonna come a time in the middle of that where you're gonna be like, this just doesn't feel right, or it just is like, I'm not gaining anything. Well, yeah, because you don't even know why you're doing it.
Exactly. And you'll know too, those, I mean, they'll come like it's a billboard, you know what I mean? And like just lit up, and it's like, okay, yeah, I know this isn't right. So
Right.
either people will, you know, stop, which is, that's usually how I do. If I don't feel right about it, I'm not going to keep doing it. Or if it's like, if ego and vanity and image and all that ties into it, then that might be someone's motivation to keep going, because they're trying to be an ideal or something that they have a view in their head, you know what I mean?
Right.
Which that's more of like, in my, with my sense, is like a egotistical thing, you know. So I
Yeah.
try to leave ego out of whatever it is I do, and actually, you know, listen or sit with myself for a few minutes and be like, okay, like, why am I doing this? What's my reason behind it? You know, what can I expect? What challenges am I gonna have to face? So you kind of like, you know, self assure yourself on that.
I feel like when you're selfish about it, it's only narrow minded. Like you're only gonna get, you're limiting yourself to what you could possibly gain. You know, when you're being selfless and open, you're like when you're open to all this. So you're gonna get so much more. But when
Yeah.
you're like this, all that on this side is like, you're not even going to get that because you limit yourself so much. And that's what egotism and vanity, all of that whole mindset creates limits for you to gain, because there's so much out there that you can gain when you're not really paying attention. Because even when you're not paying attention, it could be a month down the line, and because your peripherals were up
Mhm.
and you're like, I remember when I crossed this, or I met that person around my crossroads, and it's like, okay, I met you, like, oh yeah, yeah. And then they offer you something that you've been trying to aim to. So it's like, I feel like you shouldn't always be narrow-minded, having yourself more microscopic on where you're going. It should be open to where you're going. Yeah, have expectations to an extent. I feel like you should and shouldn't have expectations on yourself, because you don't want to be too hard on yourself, because that also is a Debbie Downer. It also can keep you from moving forward when you're so hard on yourself. And that's one of my biggest things with expectations, is like, I want to put expectations on life itself,
Mhm.
especially people, because if you do, you will always be disappointed, because in our mind we have uh an image, or how we think how things are and what they should look like.
Mhm.
And then when we see it and it's not meeting to our perspective, or our checklist and all that, if it doesn't meet to that, our criteria, then it's like, okay, then you're a disappointment, move on. But you don't know what that can offer. You're
Yep.
missing out a whole and total blessing, or an opportunity, a career, whatever it is, you're missing out when you're really limiting yourself like this. Like, nope, if you don't like this, then I'm not going towards you. It's like, okay, you're
Yeah.
lost, not mine. And I
Yeah.
think you should really have that mindset of always being open and being selfless.
Oh, yeah.
Um, being selfless. I mean, you should be selfish at certain times, when it
Mhm.
comes to your protectiveness, because I think when we have a heart on our sleeve, or we're a person that sees potential in everybody and everything, that's good and bad, because
Definitely.
we have such a strong belief in the potential in individuals, where we try to, like, no, I believe in you, I believe in this. Or if it's an activity or something versus a person, we're so busy trying to push it. But if nobody or a group is seeing that potential, what you see, you're not saying it's a waste, but you're spending a lot of your energy on people who are not meeting in the middle. And you can take that energy and aim it somewhere else. And that's it, just in life itself, that I have been, gaining and learning about myself, and learning about people that I've met. um the whole, in particular, expectations and potential has been one of my biggest drives in life, because I had to stop trying to change people, trying to make them see, because you can't make anybody do anything they don't want to do.
Yeah.
You can only encourage, you can only give your own experiences, but you can't really change somebody to do something. They're going to evolve on their own. And you got to make sure that, if you want to plant seeds, you can do that.
Yeah.
You sure can't, pull their hand and do like, hey, let go. There's going to be a tug of war
You're only going
going
to create
on.
that resentment
Yeah,
with them. Yeah.
right, right.
If Now, when you're talking about focus, that's something that you should have, in my opinion, a bit more of that tunnel vision, because you're focused on what that end goal is, and all the things you got to do in between to get to that. But don't let that distract you from everything else that you got going on, or know how to compartmentalize things, and know what's priority A, priority B, but make sure you're still being attentive of everything, and giving everything the attention that it deserves. So
Yeah. It's one thing that I've learned so far in life is that balance. It's a tough thing to gain, because it's like you got to know how to waver it. You know what I mean? Because it's like this can weigh more, and you're focusing on one. I need that, but then this and you need that too. But it's like, well, how do I balance it? And like what you said, it's like it's seriously, it's to me, it's like, it's really a balance. You focus too much on that, then you're gonna like the other. I mean, it's a trip how life is, man.
yeah,
you know, um, Here we are in our early 30s, and you're not even 30 yet, are you?
I am.
You
Yeah,
30?
Yeah. Be
Oh,
30
okay.
or so.
Yeah, that's right. There we go. Now a lot of people say when you reach 30, there's something that clicks. They're like, when you
Well,
reach 30, something just clicks. Do you
yeah.
believe that, or do you like?
I think so in my opinion, right? Because I started the path that I feel I was meant to do late. It just kind of lit a fire under me to make things happen a lot more quicker, you know. But the maturity, I think, definitely comes with as you get older. But that can hit at different times for everybody.
Right.
I think with me, it started probably at 28 when well, tail end of 27 when I actually, like, when my wife was pregnant and it was getting, like, that was the click for me. So if she
Right.
never got pregnant, I don't know if things would have stayed, you know. Sorry, there's my friend was there. But yeah, if she hadn't gotten pregnant, I don't know if my mentality would have changed as much as it did with her getting pregnant. So I think eventually it would have happened, but it might have been like more down the road, you know. But that
Right.
was the turning point. So,
You know, what you
but
said
I know
before,
people that are like 32, 33, 34, and they still don't have their stuff together.
they be
So,
50, bro, and they still don't get it.
and I know people that are 20 years old, and I'm like, dang, man, like you're way ahead of your time. You know what I mean? And that's, age to me is like, yes, it's just a number, but in certain regards, it's
It's
it is
mental.
the stereotype that people talk about. It is right in some sense.
Yeah, I agree on you 100% on that, because it's like, it's just like you have to eliminate all. You have to eliminate that, like the overall, like, yeah, when you reach 30, we all gonna get like, no, age is nothing but a number. Yeah, to an extent.
Yeah.
There's always gonna be a to an extent.
What I
You
don't
know,
Go ahead. Sorry,
no,
I
no.
didn't cut you off.
I think it's like a mental thing. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
I feel like versus age is nothing but a number. I feel like it's more like your mental, where you are mentally is going to debate or determine where you're heading.
Mhm.
You know, and then also what comes across as well, because we have to decide how we're going to accept it. Like, you had to decide how you were going to accept when your wifey was pregnant.
Mhm.
What was going to be the next step for you? What were
Yeah.
you going to do as the man and the partner? You know, so it's all mental. It ain't got nothing to do with the age. It's all about, like, okay, what do I need to do? How am I going to change my mentality?
Exactly.
What needs to be done? What needs to be taken care of? How can I be there for her and still maybe handle what I got to handle? You know, because maybe there's an
Why?
expiration date or a time gap, you know, that's allowed. You know what I mean? So it's like, to me, that I've learned in life, it's this versus age.
Oh,
Because
absolutely.
I've met so many older people, and they are living and acting like they're still 21. I'm
Mhm.
like, bro, you're 50 years old. I feel like I'm more age than you.
Yeah, and so the thing I don't agree with personally is how people apply labels and
Mhm.
guidelines to your age. So right, they're like, okay, you're 21, so you should be doing this at that time. You're 25, so you should be doing this. Oh, and once you hit 30, you need to have this, and this. Like,
Mhm.
I don't personally live like that because then I just feel like almost like suffocated. I want to be able to make decisions naturally at the right times that I should. Now,
Right.
I'm not perfect, you know, obviously, like, I don't always make the best decisions, but I don't feel like you have to go based on, like, it's like a plan or whatever, you know what I mean? Or like a timeline that you have to live by, basically. Like, you have to follow these parameters by this age.
Mhm.
I personally don't agree with.
Mhm.
You know, we all have the power to make decisions. And like you said, that's what it comes down to, is at the end of the day, is you making whatever decision and then another one on top of that, another one, and you know, whatever that leads you to. Every day you're faced with different decisions, from what shirt or pants are you going to wear, you know what I mean, and
Correct.
what time are you going to wake up, this and that. So yes, there's certain, like, guidelines that you have to, not have to, but that you're going to kind of fall into based on your age group and
Right.
stuff, but it's not something that I feel like people should live their whole life around, you know, like,
Right.
because I'm 30 I need to have this and this. No,
Right.
like, it's different for everybody, you know.
It is, and I think if people actually accept that, because people don't know how to accept that, I feel like, because like your life is different from mine, my life is different from yours, and it's different for everybody. So there's no guideline how to live. Hey, Corey, so I did this. So this is how it's going to work out for you because you're reaching 29, you're reaching 30 and 31. So at 31, expect this, and
Mhm.
that doesn't happen. You know,
Yeah.
so it's like, well, I thought this was supposed to happen, and I think a lot of people don't get that, where just because it worked or failed for you doesn't mean it's going to work or fail for me. You
Yeah.
know, because I think the ultimate accomplishment and gain is to realize that it's my life, not yours. And how it's going to happen is going to how it's going to happen to me. You know, and I think even in parenting, I've been noticing a lot about generations right now. I've been paying attention a lot about generations like our grandmas, and then our parent, and then us, and then those behind us, and then after them, a lot of the generations, like it's like the traditional people, they have that discipline, they have purpose. It's like you got to make sure you keep your mind here. I'm gonna discipline you hardcore. I'm gonna whip that ass. You know, I'm gonna do what I gotta do, but you're gonna learn. Then we
Yeah.
got our parents, and not saying all parents, but some who try to protect you from
Mhm.
what they went through. And whether it's robbing us from an opportunity experience of a discipline that we have to learn on our own, they're thinking that they're protecting. And then it's like, but that could be something that they can gain. And what if they gain that even sooner than we did when we we're at that
Right.
age? You know, but we're robbing them from that opportunity of learning. And so then that person, you know, at our age, that person becomes a parent, and then they're doing even worse. Like, well, I'm not gonna whip them because I like how my parent whipped me. So I'm not gonna whip them. I'm not gonna tell them this because I like how they tell me. So it's like we have to be more selfless, I guess. You know, I feel like, you know, in growing, it's and I could be wrong, you know, I'm just saying it by experience. But
Yeah.
just I feel like we have to stop being selfish and thinking about it's all about us or what I went through. We want to protect people, but you know, through the protection, there's also a loss, you know, and even through without protecting, there's something that's also missed. So it's like, where do you find the balance, you know? But it's really all that. I think parents, I feel like they might have it a little harder. I'm not a parent, bro. You are. You know, you about to dive into this, you know.
It's yeah,
Um,
a learning process for both sides. That's for sure.
I feel like that's the best part to go about it. Taking it in as knowing that it's going to be a learning process. Don't go in it with a book. You got to go in it with your guys' mentality.
Yeah.
You know, you and her, because this child is representation. Your children are a representation of you and her, not of this book from some celebrity or whatnot. That celebrity never lived my life, so how can it go? This celebrity might have maids who changes the baby diaper.
Yeah.
You and your wifey is the ones changing the diapers, so it's like I can't relate to that. You know, so it's like I believe that, you know, a lot of us are trying to get a handbook on how to do things, and it just doesn't work. That you have to experience for yourself, and
Absolutely.
you got to just know. I think the thing that we have to probably encourage, if anything, we got to encourage our friends, our family, our kids, is that when it comes, because it will, whatever it is, just know that you will get through it. Because if you have that mentality that you will get through it, you see that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and this shit may be hard as hell, you know, but if you have that mentality, you're already building yourself up that you're going to get through it. And then
Yeah.
you're going to gain everything that you're meant to gain, whether it's now or 10 years later, you're going to gain it because you know you focused on at the end. It's like, hey, I'm going to get there. I have to get there. My mom, my dad, they told me that I no matter what you go through, you have to make it through, you know, and
Yeah.
instead of trying to protect them, like, hey, you know, because parental wise, if I had a kid, I will go to war for them. You know, like if I found out my kids were being bullied, I'm going to that mother trucker's
Mhm.
parents' house
Oh
and
yeah.
I'm gonna fuck them up. Okay, I'm gonna fuck them up. And then the kid, I'm like, you see what happens when you bully? That's what happens. So think about it twice. You know. You know, so it's like, because we want the best for our child, we want to protect our child from everything, but you know, it's you know, when you go through it, you have to go through it. You know, it's a learning process when you go through it. It's kind of like you take what you can. You just got to go with the punches. You got to go with it. You know, go with the flow. You know,
Yeah.
as it comes, because there is no book to tell you. Okay, well, at twos, your child's gonna act like this. Like, well, what chapter is gonna describe how my child is acting right now? Because I don't see nothing that shows me. Because they acting like none of these chapters. Can we get a refund? You know, so this ain't working. Like, I don't know what to do. I'm lost for words, you know.
Yeah.
But bro, yeah, that stuff is crazy. But I really feel like balancing yourself and just literally going with the flow is the best way to go with life. And just know that everything is not going to be what you expect. I think that's the hardest thing for us all to gain. Is we all have an expectation to an extent, and we do get disappointment. I mean, how can we talk about it if we don't have the disappointment? You know what I mean? If you don't have disappointment, then I'm not going to listen to you. You know, like, okay, well, do you have any disappointments in your life? Well, yeah, no, not really. Everything's perfect.
What? That's a great point, because I feel like the best teachers are people that have, like, so depending on the topic, the best teachers about a given subject are those that have actually experienced it and been through it. You know what I mean? And actually felt that, because it's like, if you're trying to educate someone on something that you've never experienced yourself, how legitimate is that? You know, and
Right.
that is listening to that is gonna feel that, know that internally. But if it's something that you've been through and you're sharing that knowledge with someone, they're gonna see it, that like it just radiates off you and you feel that, you know, that
Right.
knowledge. And yeah, like you were saying about the parenting thing, failure is the best teacher. You know,
It
like you have
is.
to let your children fall on their face so they can know what it feels like, basically. And yes, I mean, of course you always protect them and you have to, but at some point you have to let them spread their wings, and you can't, you know, like shelter them from everything, because that's only going to be detrimental. It's going to work the opposite of what you want. You know, like if you tell them go do this, they're going to go do it. And that's
Automatically.
you have to like guide them and show them the way, but allow them to do the work. So basically you give them the tools, but they're going to do the work.
Right. I totally agree. Totally agree. Is it getting busy over there?
Oh yeah, we got dinner. That's probably
What time is dinner?
I don't know. I think it's done. So I'll probably do like another 10-15 minutes.
Cool.
So we can always continue this later at another time too.
Yeah, for sure. Well, this ain't gonna be the last time I'm having you, bro. So just
Yeah.
so you know, we definitely gonna be doing it again.
Go there and stuff.
Definitely. So 2 years right now for in the military. The baby on the way in September.
Yep.
So with this, are you guys like traveling anywhere, going to other locations besides San Diego?
So right now, I mean, we can't, because military has a 100-mile radius that we have to stay in right now until the COVID thing is lifted.
Oh yeah, that's right.
But yeah, we like to do trips. We had a Palm Springs trip lined up. We had a Santa Barbara trip. Little family outings, you know, within reasonable distance.
Right.
Nothing too crazy yet. We're waiting till our kids get a little bit older, like 3, 4-ish. So then we can go, you know, like Italy or Greece or do something fun like that, where it'll be a lot easier for both of us, you know.
Yeah, especially when the young ones still growing.
Yeah, not easiest.
Yeah, just to give it a little time for them to grow, and it's like, okay, now we can travel without the extra, because as a baby you got a lot of extra packing on, right? It's like we gotta get diapers, we gotta get this, make sure we're good to go when we travel, right?
It's all there. But no, we with the whole COVID situation, we've been making the best of it, you know, like doing family activities here at home, barbecuing, having bonfire, you know, working out, just watching movies, spending good quality time. For me, nothing has really changed, because, you know, being military, you're essential personnel, so you're still
confined and stuff.
Still got to go there. The schedule has changed a little bit, but as of now, it's pretty much returned back to normal. Still just, you know, taking precautions and everything, because I don't want my wife to get sick being pregnant, or my daughter, you know, because she's just young. So
Right.
if anyone's going to expose themselves, might as well be me.
Right. Because that's more of at risk when if it's them, because it's more than one life. It's 2, 3. You know. was I gonna say? I had a thought. Shit. I hate that. Now it's going blank. That's what you get when you're drinking. Hey, he's drinking right now. What you drinking over there?
Gosh, just beer.
Shock top.
Just
Nice. Damn, what was I going to freaking ask you? Well, anyways, all right. Since I can't think of what it was. Damn, I really went blank there. I hate going blank on my show. Even though that's gonna be cut out, no one's gonna hear it. No one's gonna hear it anyway. It'll be like we went smooth, anyways. So I have.
just do a little clip.
Yeah, definitely. I ain't worried about, bro. You know I do editing, okay? So I have a question then. From your lips, what does motivation mean, and how would you tell people to stay motivated?
So that's okay. Personally, for me, I would say, let's see, what does motivation mean? Motivation, in my opinion, means wanting to do more than like having a drive to, whether it's make a change or do something different. Like, you know, if you're like, oh, I'm motivated to go to the gym, or I'm motivated to go on a run, or I'm gonna try something new. So it's, to me, that motivation is like that spark of wanting to do that. And then what was the other part you said with that?
And how would you tell people, like, encourage them to be motivated?
Just always have a focal point as to why it is motivated about that. You know, like I had touched on earlier, purpose. But in regards to motivation, you want to remind yourself why it is you're motivated about that. What is it that the end result that you see, like the benefit of that, or whatever it is that you want to do, or why are you motivated? Your why, basically, like you said. So just always reassure yourself, because there's going to be times where it's hard and you're not always going to want to do it, and you're struggling, you know, and your motivation is going to kind of dwindle. You're not going to, you know, like if, let's say you only got 2 hours of sleep last night, right? And your normal thing is you wake up and go to the gym. You're not going to feel very motivated when you wake up. It's going to be hard.
Yeah.
So you got to have discipline to go with that. And that's I think the thing that ties it all together is remaining disciplined in what matters to you and why it is you're motivated about that.
You know what? That's so good, because I never thought about that right now. Till right now that you said that, because with motivation, discipline comes right with it. It's like hand in hand, because without it, then there's this lack of it. There's no reason for it. And you're going to fail. Not to be mean and brutal, but you will fail if you don't have the discipline to do it. Exactly. You know, because so much time, you know, in my life, I always think about, oh, it's the consistency. But without that discipline, there is no consistency.
Yeah. You got to do the work too. You know, you got to be disciplined enough to do the work. You can't just expect, like, be motivated about something and then just expect it to happen.
Right.
Or like if you're not actually doing the groundwork to make it happen. So you gotta get out there and grind, and whatever it is, you know, whether it's school or a job or whatever, you gotta set yourself apart from others.
Right.
And just do the work. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You gotta do that. That's my opinion, but you definitely gotta be disciplined in that regard.
Right. Well, bro, I definitely agree on that. I won't take you too much more on, because you know you got things to do. But first of all, I want to say thank you for taking the time out to just talk about, because overall it's been very motivating on what we've been talking about today. The boundaries in depth, and I'm one that loves getting perspectives with others, because I feel like we learn so much more in life when we hear from others, not just us, because we don't know it all, you know, and we can only go from our own experiences, but everybody offers so much more experiences. And I know that's something that me and you always connected on. So I'm grateful for that. So thank you so much for, you know, opening up with that and sharing, you know, from one mind to another.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem, man. Hey, so I know you're talking about podcasting. If it's too soon to ask, but I mean, what would you want to focus on?
So I have a general idea, you know, based off the ones that I like to listen to, but it would be a range of different people that, have been through things and got to a point in their life where they had to fight for it and work for it and never give up. Probably be a lot of, veterans or military people, active duty, that know now what their life is, so they can educate, the civilian side. And just fitness is big. I really love fitness, so people, probably incorporate a little bit of that into it. But I feel like a lot of the people I associate myself with anyways, that's a big part of their life. It's a big part of mine. So that'll naturally just kind of be like a talking point on there. But nice. I haven't really figured it out yet, but I would say basically pretty much that, like people that are go-getters and motivated and positive people and want to get out there and just do good for the community and, protect people and all that jazz.
Hey, bro, you planted the seed. That's all you got to do. You planted it out there. You're good to go, and it's going to grow and prosper the way it's supposed to, and go with the flow, and I know you are one that does that. So I'm not even worried about that. And I got your back.
Get it.
So, all right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to, that was for our show, basically on motivation and all thereof. This has been Oh Boy, and it's your boy Will, aka Nacho, for Nacho's Cafe. And this is not the last time you will hear from him, because gosh, there's so much more to talk about with
we just barely scratched.
We literally just scratched the surface, because I mean, if you kicked it with us back then, like, this is nothing. So I can't wait to have you again. We'll definitely dive into some more stuff, more depth, whatever. Yeah. So thank you so much for being part of this.
And that completes today's Talk About It Tuesday episode on Nacho's Cafe. Thank you so much for listening, and see you next Tuesday for the next TBIT episode. And remember, when you run into a mental wall of personal perspective, talk about it.